Greetings and welcome to a new video about electric circuits. We continue with another method, node voltage method, after we have seen several examples using the mesh current method. And this is our first example for this method. Of course, we will look at the calculations step by step and also verify these in SPICE simulations. Okay, this is the circuit we also have seen actually in the mesh current method in example number 1. Now we will use the node voltage method and see that the results are exactly the same. Okay, what we want is the calculation of the current through each resistor and also the voltage across each resistor. So we have two questions here. And the currents are defined in this form, so with the plus and the minus sign for the R1, current going to the right side from left to right. For the R2 it's in this format, and for R3 it is shown here. So I1, I2 and I3 will be determined, and also V1, V2 and V3 for question B. Okay, let's look at the solutions. How do we start? The steps are for the node voltage as follows. Step 1 is determine the nodes. So how many nodes do you need here in order to calculate the unknowns? For example, this is definitely a node, but we know the voltage there. It is about node voltage, and you need to assign a node where you don't know the voltage. So if you assign this, it is fine, but you don't get new information because the VA is known, that is 2 volts. VB, for example, this node is also not really handy because we also know that it is 5 volts. And this node here, that is the reference node, which is 0, so that is also known. So the only node that we can assign and is helpful is this node in the middle. So we can just name that something, so I just call them most of the time X if it is not used. So that node is now assigned and we will use that. So determine the nodes or node, in this case we have only one. Step 2 is write the Kirchhoff current law, KCL, for each node. Now again we have only one node. And remember we have used the loops in the mesh current analysis, and that is actually Kirchhoff's voltage law. So we have now the Kirchhoff current law and just one node. Let's then develop that Kirchhoff current law at this node X. So we write it down for short, Kirchhoff current law at X. What you need to do is actually write this in a very compact form. So don't write down a lot of equations and let's say numbers, etc. Just what you see. Now what you see is that I1 is entering this node and it produces actually I2 and I3. That's actually shown here. So I1, the flow of that current in this branch, will produce I2 and I3. So that's actually shown here. So the I1 is a summation of I2 and I3. Now, the step 3 is that's just what we have done then in step 2 because we have only one node. Step 3 is use Ohm's law to express the current equation, or equations, in this case we have only one, in terms of the voltages and resistors. So using Ohm's law, because we know from Ohm's law that we have a voltage, current and resistor in its formula. So it is R is equal to V over I. So we can say the I is then equal to V over R. Now, V1 over R1, that's for I1. V2 over R2, that's for I2. And V3 over R3 is I3. So we actually have, let's say, open the boxes for each current and then write it down in voltage, resistor, voltage, resistor, voltage, resistor. So associated voltage and resistor for each current. That's step 3. Now, also write that down. Now in the unknown voltage we have assigned here, that node voltage X must be used in order to have only one unknown, because this equation is fine. We know of course resistors, but I don't know the V1. I don't know V2 and V3, so there are a lot of unknowns here. So we have 3 unknowns. That's definitely not the best equation to solve directly. So let's then convert this to an equation which you can solve. That is an equation with only one unknowns. Now V1 can be rewritten or expressed in terms of the voltage VA and also this voltage here. That is again Kirchhoff voltage law, because this voltage VA is V1 plus V2. That means V1 or Vx, that's also V2. So V1 is equal to VA minus Vx. That's actually shown here. Over R1, of course, and then you have this expression. V2 is exactly Vx, and Vx means actually this node reference to ground. That is always assumed a trivial, let's say, assumption. So this node with respect to ground, that is Vx, and it's also V2. So we replace it by Vx such that we have only one unknown. Okay, now we go to V3, similar form. V3 is actually this voltage between these two nodes from left to right. That is actually the voltage at node X minus this voltage with VB that's actually shown here, and again over the R3. Now we have everything we wanted and only one unknown in this expression. Why? Because we know VA, VB, that's all given, and also the resistors. So if I now go to step 4, substitute now the values for the circuit. In this expression, we have the following. 2 minus Vx over 10, 10 was the R1, V is equal to Vx over 20, that was R2, and then plus Vx minus 5 was Vb, over 60. Now, what you see here, that's only the Vx, that's the blue, let's say, unknown. That's all. That means we can solve this. It's perfect. So we can now say, okay, how can we tackle this? Now, there are different methods to solve this. What I found easy to do is I multiplied the left and the right hand side of this equation by a number which will help me to work out this fraction. So I want to get rid of these fractions. I think the 60 is nice. Then I get rid of this. I only get Vx minus 5, and I get 3 times Vx here, and also get 6 times the 2 minus Vx in parentheses. So the results are actually shown here. This is what you get. Okay. Now let's then work out this parenthesis and then collect the terms. This will be then of course 4 times the Vx minus 5 for the right hand side. And this will be then 6 times 2, 12, and then 6 times minus that Vx will be minus 6 Vx. Now let's then take them together. That will be then minus 10 Vx will be then equal to minus 17. So collected variables and also the collective constants. We can also of course divide out that minus sign, and we will get 10 times Vx will be 17. So Vx will be then 17 over 10 will be then 1.7 volts. So we know that voltage. Perfect. This is exactly what you need to do in order to move on. That node voltage which you actually have assigned that. If you have of course more, you need to also calculate the other one. Now, then we get the following. Because we know this, we can now work out everything. The currents through each resistor. This is our let's say the expression we started, Kirchhoff current law. We know also how that is written in the voltages. So we can say I1 is equal to VA minus Vx over R1. We know Vx because it's just calculated, and VA is already given, so we can just substitute and we have 30 milliamps. That's it. So it's that simple. I2 is now Vx over R2, shown here. And we know Vx 1.7 over 20, and that is then 85 milliamps. That's also done. So you can see, once you know Vx, everything goes much faster. Now I3 is actually here. So I3 then will be then Vx minus Vb over R3. And that is then just substitute the values given here. You will have minus 55 milliamps. So all the currents are known. Now next one is the voltage. Voltage across each resistor is actually easier because we have already used that in the current equations. Because voltage across each resistor using Ohm's law is voltage times, the current times its resistor. Or you can say, I just look at it, this is the voltage for the V1, this is the voltage for V2, this is the voltage for V3. So you can also do that. 2 minus 1.7 will be then 0.3 volts or 300 millivolts. This is then for V2, that's just of course 1.7, and V3 is already given here, and it will be then 1.7 minus 5 will be then minus 3.3 volts. So I get 0.3 volts here, 1.7 there, and from there to there, so from left to right for R3, I will get minus 3.3 volts. From right to left, I get for R3 plus 3.3 volts. That is important, so your orientation is very important. Okay, this is now the result we have. Now let's collect them and summarize what we have determined. There's the I1, I2, I3, V1, V2, V3. What we get from the simulation, let's bring up the circuits. I will discuss this shortly also live in the simulator in the SPICE. This is the circuit we have for this example. So resistors and 2 voltage sources DC, ideal. And this is now the table I can generate in SPICE simulator when you have this circuit. What you see is the currents here, 30 milliamps, etc., is actually shown here. So you can recognize here I underscore R1 is actually between node 1 and 2, so to assign this, that's 30 milliamps. That's also the same direction we have chosen, so the simulator have done the same thing. 30 milliamps, fantastic. We have already also verified that. I underscore R2 from 2 to 0, this is also 0 because that's 0. That is 85 milliamps, exactly what we have, also perfect. Now I underscore R3 is between 2 and 3, again the same direction we have chosen. That is minus 55, that is a minus sign, 55 milliamps, exactly what we have. Okay, now for the currents, we can see it here, these 3 labels. 30 millivolts, I mean, for the V1. That's actually this voltage for between 1 and 2, that's V1. And between 2 and 0, that's V2, that's actually 1.7 exactly, but that was actually Vx. And we have also V3, which is this one between 2 and 3, that is minus 3.3 volts. You can also check this in a different way. You can say, I would like to use Ohm's law. Then you can multiply this current, which you have determined here, times its resistance, you will get exact same result. Now that's really nice, the confirmation of our calculations using the simulation in SPICE. Now let's not jump directly to SPICE and also generate this and discuss this there and how you can make up this table. So let's go there. All right, now we are in our simulator, Tina TI SPICE. I already prepared the circuit. This is now again the VA 2 volts, VB 5 volts and the 3 resistors. How we can generate now the table? Let's do that. You go to analysis here, so you have a lot of options, but we need analysis and then DC analysis because we do DC analysis. The circuit is at DC condition. And you can do, let's say, calculate your node voltages or do the table of DC results. I like this one because you get a lot of information. And then you will generate this table. So let me open it up. If I now, for example, click on one of the components here, let's say this one R1, 2 values will be highlighted in red. That's the current and also the voltage for this component R1. You can see 30 milliamps and 300 millivolts. That's exactly what we have calculated. For R2, exactly say as we have calculated, 85 milliamps and 1.7 volts. And this is therefore the R3. Minus 55 milliamps and also minus 3.3 volts. You can also check in a different way. You can also say, okay, I would like to just see directly what the voltages are. So you can just select this and then look at this node that was 1.7 or this node, because that was of course the Vx. So that's exactly correct. And this node, that is just only node voltage, not the volts across some element, only the node voltages. This voltage is of course not really interesting because it's already 5, so we know that. You can also check that here, there's also 2. Okay, great. That's actually for this first example about the node voltage method. I will of course continue with another example about, more examples actually about this method and also other methods to illustrate the concept in great detail. This is just a really simple, relatively simple circuit to start up. Look at it, and if you have any questions, comments, please let me know. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. See you next time in another interesting video. Take care.